Assalamu alaikum. The first step that you're supposed to take before you start writing is planning. Don't just grab your pen and start writing. Without planning, your essay is going to be disorganized and meaningless. Planning basically means thinking about the ideas you're going to include in your essay. It's not related to how you're going to form each sentence, nor is it related to grammar or vocabulary. Basically, just the main ideas. Planning is supposed to take from 3 to 5 minutes. In the next part, I'm going to explain to you how you're supposed to be planning for your essay in the IELTS exam. Okay, when it comes to planning, there are a number of things that you need to take into consideration. The first one is that planning is essential. You cannot really ignore planning. Some people under the pressure of the exam feel that, okay, I don't have time to plan, so I'm just going to start writing my essay. This is not a good idea. If you do that, you can guarantee that you're not going to write a good essay. You can also guarantee that the score you will get in the exam is not going to be the required 7 that you have to get. So you have to plan. The next step that you want to take into consideration is the fact that planning is related to the main ideas in the essay, not the details. When you're planning, you should take into consideration the main facts that you're going to mention, not the supporting details, not the examples. I mean, you start first with the main ideas. If you have time to plan for the details, plan for the examples, yes, you can do that. But if you don't have time, you just need to focus on the main ideas first, and then let the details come in the middle of the process of writing. Planning is not related to grammar. Because we studied complex sentences and because you know that you need to write complex sentences in order to be able to get a good score in the exam, some people mistakenly plan the complex sentence that they're going to write in their essay. This is wrong, very wrong. You don't do that. You write your essay first and you plan the ideas first. And then after you finish writing, if you feel that you can rewrite a certain sentence in a better way to make it more complex and to apply the rules of grammar that we learned, then we can do that. But you don't start by planning a complex sentence and then modifying your essay to fit this complex sentence. You don't do that. In the IELTS, planning is mainly related to the body paragraphs, not to the introduction or the conclusion. So you plan the ideas that you're going to include in the body paragraphs. You don't plan what you're going to write in the introduction. You actually start writing the introduction. You plan for it as you write it. You do the same thing for the conclusion. You plan for the conclusion as you write it. But planning is mainly related to the main ideas that you're going to include in the body paragraphs and not what you're going to write in the introduction or the conclusion. One more thing to be taken into consideration. If you're asked to write your opinion, sometimes the question asks you to write your opinion, then you have to plan your opinion and you need to make it clear and straightforward and easy to understand. So you have to plan for your opinion in advance. Planning needs to take from 3 to 5 minutes in the IELTS exam, no more and no less. Okay, let's take an example here. I'll give you a few seconds to read this. You can pause if you need more time. Okay, now we understand this example. This is taken from a real IELTS exam. You can easily have a question like this one in the exam. Okay, so how do you plan for this? You need to take into consideration the first side, the people who believe that it's a good idea to pay athletes a huge salary. Okay, so that's the first side. You need to ask yourself the question, why? Why should athletes get paid a huge salary? Why? Why should we pay them all of this amount of money? Okay, now to answer this question, you need to come up with some ideas before you start writing. Ideas like what? Maybe you feel like they work hard, athletes work hard, and that's why we need to pay them huge salaries. They train hard, practice hard, and that's why they deserve to get paid this amount of money. Maybe you feel they make people happy, which is true. If you love soccer and your favorite soccer player scores goals and wins the match, you feel happy at the end of the day. You go home smiling. So maybe this is why we need to pay your favorite soccer player a huge amount of money. Maybe you feel that they generate profits for the clubs that they play for. Again, if they are loved and they are popular, soccer players can generate a huge amount of money because the people will come to the stadium to watch them. They will pay tickets, and then the tickets are a big source of income for the club. So in return, the club should pay those athletes some of the money that they are generating. They are role models for the youth. If you're a soccer player and you take care of your health, then the youth are going to want to take care of their health and exercise to be like you. And maybe this is a reason why you should get paid a huge amount of money. After you write down these ideas in the planning stage, you need to ask yourself, okay, which of these ideas can I explain and support with examples? Which one can I use? Because you don't have to use all of these ideas. You might come up with some ideas and then feel, okay, maybe I don't need to use this one. I don't need to use that one. You can just choose one or two of these ideas. If you ask me personally, I will choose the third one. I can easily support the third one. I cannot support the first or the second or the fourth, but the third one is easy for me. I can talk about the fact that people pay tickets when they go to the stadium, and the tickets generate hundreds of thousands in every match. So some of this money needs to go to the players. One more thing, when players score goals and they win championships, these championships offer financial rewards for the clubs. Of course, you know that if Al Ahly wins the African Championship, for example, they get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. So maybe some of this money needs to go to the players. I can support this idea. It's easy for me. Maybe you can support a different idea. Maybe you can support number 4 or number 2. No problems. The point that I'm trying to make is that you don't have to use all of these ideas in your paragraph. You can think about them, but then you eliminate some of those ideas if you feel that they are inconvenient. Now it's time for us to consider the second side, the people who think it's not a good idea to pay athletes all this money. Why? Why do they disagree? Maybe you think it's not fair for other professions, for doctors and engineers. We pay soccer players a lot of money, but how about doctors and engineers? Maybe they think it sends the wrong message to the youth. It tells them that sports are more important than science and learning and education. Maybe it creates negative feelings in the society when the gap increases between the classes. You have some players who get paid millions of dollars, and on the other hand, you have people who don't even make a small fraction of what the athletes make. So they start hating each other. It reduces the value of hard work because after all, sports are games, they're not work. So the youth will feel it's not important for us to work hard. It's not important for us to study hard. We can just play a game and make millions of dollars. Okay, one more time, as I said before, you need to choose some of these ideas and then write a paragraph about them. You're not going to choose all of them. Also, when it comes to planning, you need to plan for your opinion. Sometimes the question will ask you about your opinion in some of the questions. This is the case. So a part of your planning should involve thinking about your opinion. Which side do you agree with? Do you think it's a good idea to pay athletes a huge amount of money, or it's a bad idea? You need to write that in your opinion. Okay, in the IELTS exam, when the opinion is required, we either write it in the introduction or in the conclusion. That's everything related to planning. I hope this was a useful lesson for you, and I'm going to see you in the next lesson. Inshallah, have a nice time. Thank you so much for watching.